Welcome Hornets and welcome to Bgsn. Today is Tuesday, January 9th. I'm Tiana.
And I'm Mark. Today we will take a look at the NHS fashion show, 2-hour delay guidelines, and another segment on Jake's complaints.
But first, here's Josh with this week's weather forecast.
Thanks, Tiana. This week's going to look pretty gloomy. On Tuesday, today we're looking at a high of 39 with a low of 33. Tomorrow we're going to have a high of 49 with a 52% chance of rain. On Thursday we're going to have a high of 57 with a low of 52 with an 80% chance of rain. And on Friday there will be a high of 35 with a low, and we're getting a little cooler, of 17 with a 70% chance of rain. That's it for this week's weather forecast. Back to you guys.
This week is much warmer than it has been, but back when we were seeing single-digit weather and negative degrees, a lot of students were wondering why we weren't having a lot of 2-hour delays. Cody Starrett talked with Mrs. Walters on what goes into determining 2-hour delays and cancellations.
So first thing that certainly goes into a cancellation or a 2-hour delay decision is going to be student safety. So a lot of that conversation is simply about students who are going to be out for transportation, waiting for the buses. Certainly when students enter the facilities, you know, the safety of entering and exiting facilities, because obviously once we get students here, whether, you know, if that's a 2-hour delay or a full day, the building itself is certainly safe from a utility standpoint. But that decision is primarily based on transportation, whether the roads are safe, and then certainly the weather, whether students can be waiting for buses and kind of travel the roads. That decision is actually made at central office in I would say 99.9 districts. We don't have that decision-making capability at the building level, so it's certainly through our district office. Dr. Kaiser, I believe, has conversation with surrounding districts in order to kind of make a coordinated decision on whether students are safe in Marion County, in sort of south of 70 or north of 70. A lot of those channels kind of come into play. So when that decision is made, you tend to see schools making similar decisions because that weather affects, you know, the proximity of that area.
The National Honor Society is hosting a fashion show on January 19th. Here's Garrett with more information.
On January 19th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the National Honor Society for Beech Grove High School will hold a fashion show. Beech Grove is doing this fashion show to raise money and to receive clothing for people who are still rebuilding in Houston and in Puerto Rico. If you would like to attend, you need to donate 2 articles of clothing or donate $5. The money and the clothing will go to Mrs. Cooley. You can, if you would like to model, you must tell Mrs. Cooley on Friday at the end of this week, and also if you would like to work, you would have to do that. Here's Elizabeth Pick with some more information on this.
People can either model, and if they do want to model, we have to know by this Friday. They can attend the event for $5 or donate 2 articles of clothing. And it's the same thing for models. They can either donate $5 or donate 2 articles of clothing. And then we would take any people that want to help actually run the event, but we mostly have that covered. But you can see either me, Elizabeth Pick, Morgan Schneider, or Mrs. Cooley if you want to actually help run the event.
This event will be held in the Mike McMorrow Auditorium. And I am Garrett from Bgsn. Back to you guys at the desk.
If you want more information on this, please contact Ms. Cooley or any students in National Honor Society.
Thank you, Garrett. Now we're going over to throw it to John for sports.
Thank you, Mark. Last night, the College Football National Championship game between the Georgia Bulldogs and Alabama Crimson Tide took place at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. The game started with Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm throwing an interception in the first series of the game. The first quarter ended with a no score. Georgia's offense stymied the Tide defense in the second quarter, and the Dogs went into halftime with a 13-0 lead. Coming out of halftime, Alabama made the decision to make a quarterback change, going with freshman Tua Tagovailoa. After the third quarter, Alabama managed to put 10 points on the board, but they were still down 20-10. In the fourth quarter, Alabama mounted a comeback, scoring 10 points with a chance to win on a last-second field goal. Alabama kicker Andy Papanastos missed a 36-yard kick badly to the left, sending the game in overtime. After Rodrigo Blankenship crushed a 51-yard field goal, Alabama got the chance to respond, and Bama's freshman QB threw a fantastic 41-yard pass to Devontae Smith to win the game. It is Alabama's 5th title since 2009 and the 6th for head coach Nick Saban. In NFL news, the matchups for the divisional round for the playoffs are now set. In the AFC, the Tennessee Titans will visit the Patriots, and the Jaguars will visit the Steelers. For the NFC, the Vikings will host the Saints, and the Falcons will visit the Philadelphia Eagles. The winners of these games will meet in their respective conference championships. In a Pacers update, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks last night with a score of 109-96. The Pacers outscored the Bucks 64-38 in the first half. The Pacers' leading scorer was Domantas Sabonis with 17 points. Although the Bucks did attempt to mount a comeback towards the end, the Pacers were able to pull it off. With this win, it extends the Pacers' winning streak to 2 games. In Beech Grove news, the boys' JV basketball team beat Franklin Central to stay undefeated. Tonight, the boys' varsity team will visit Speedway for the Marion County tournament. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Allegiant Airlines has 2 low-cost destinations. The trips are to Charleston and Sarasota. The Charleston trip will start on April 6th with fares starting at $49, and Sarasota trip will start April 11th with fares starting at $56.
Jackpot has now bumped up to $450 million. There was the winner in Florida, but it's still a mystery. And there's another Powerball drawing tonight that if you win, and you're of current age, you win $570 million.
Now, here's another episode of Jake's Complaints, hosted by Jacob Hale.
I found this dime in my room. Check this out. I'll never see that dime again. My main problem with New Year's resolutions is probably not the fact that people set them. I like the fact that people want to like do new stuff or want to try new things and set goals for themselves. It's just the way that people treat them. You set a goal and it's somewhere you want to end up. But people think that just because you don't get there right away, that means you failed. So the classic example for, New Year's resolution is that you're going to work out more, you're going to get better in shape. But like the second that you miss a day of going to the gym, then people immediately are like, oh, you failed, why keep going? And that's the thing is, at the end of the day, you can still go, and you don't need to go every single day. That's the point of making a goal. I think this would work better if people set a long-term goal that, like you do on New Year's resolution, and then treated it like a long-term goal, rather than thinking that every single day they need to be fulfilling that idea that they want to have of, succeeding. I think if you're going to set a New Year's resolution, then you need to realize that you've probably set a long-term goal, and that getting there right away is probably not going to happen. Anyway, that's been Jake's Complaints. Tune in next time when I complain about
In honor of Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, we would like to thank all the men and women who work tirelessly every day to keep us safe. That's all for Bgsn today. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Tiana.
And I'm Mark. Have a great day, Hornets.